Happy Tuesday, everybody. So, yesterday I didn't have much of an assignment for you. I wanted you to get caught up on your body paragraphs if you had not already been done with them before we moved on, just making sure that everybody's in the same place. You can see here I've got my screen shared with you with my 3 body paragraphs, but you can also see that I added my introduction today. You guys are also going to be adding your introductions. Couple things to be thinking about with introductions. Remember, you're always going to have something to get the person's attention. You're going to tell them a little bit about what you're going to talk about, okay? And then you're going to give them a thesis statement, a sentence that says, here's the stuff that's coming in my essay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read through my introduction for you. And we're going to pick it apart kind of piece by piece here to say, okay, what's what? Do I have the parts that I need? Are there things that I should be adding? And then I'm going to pass that on to you guys. Okay, then it's your turn to go through and write your introduction. Remember, these will be due Thursday, so today is introductions, and tomorrow we'll be writing your conclusion, and then we'll have some time for editing. Okay, so here's my introduction. Susan Diane Murphy once quoted, "Firemen never die, they just burn forever in the hearts of the people whose lives they've saved." Like lifeboats floating sailors to safety, organizations such as the Firefighters Support Foundation aid firefighters who, in turn, help us all. This organization provides professional training, equipment, and survivors' assistance for firefighters. Let's help those who give their lives to save ours. Okay, let's walk through this step by step. So, this very first sentence here, or this first part, is a quote. Okay, that quote I used as my attention getter. Okay, now you don't have to use a quote. You could use a fact, you could use a little story, you could use a descriptive thing that you wrote or found. Okay, all of those would be things that you could do to start off your essay. I chose a quote. For me, sometimes I find that it's easiest to use a quote, but notice my quote directly ties into the Firefighter Support Foundation. It talks about firemen, okay? Yours would have to do the same thing. So keep that in mind. Or you're able to use any of the attention getters that we already took notes on for your pen pal letter. Okay, you can use any of those. So go back and look. You've got 5 different options, and you can kind of decide what fits you best. Okay, so that right there was my attention getter. You have to have an attention getter. That's something that we're looking for, that an essay always has. Okay, then they tell me what their charity is and just a tiny bit about them. Okay, notice I just said like lifeboats floating sailors to safety, organizations such as the Firefighter Support Foundation aid firefighters who in turn help us all. Okay, so if I've got the Marshmallow Foundation, I could say something about, that, let's see here, the Marshmallow Foundation helps the community and the animals that live in it, right? It doesn't have to be, here's a million things about the Marshmallow Foundation, because in your body paragraphs, you're going to tell me a lot more about them. But you do have to tell me, hey, here's the organization I'm doing, and in like a couple words, here's what they do. Okay? That's something that you have to have. So I'll highlight that here. Okay, then the next thing I have here is my thesis statement. Okay, it's my thesis statement. I'm saying, here's the 3 things that this organization does, and I'm going to tell you more about down below. Okay, you have to have a thesis statement. You have to. Okay, so I said this organization provides professional training, equipment, and survivors assistance for firefighters. Great. So if I look Oh, body paragraph number 1, I said professional training. Body paragraph number 2, oh, purchase equipment, right? And body paragraph number 3, I said, oh, survivors receive assistance, right? So you should be able to look from your thesis statement and say, yep, those are the 3 things I'm talking about. I could flat out highlight them in my 3 body paragraphs, okay? You have to have a thesis statement. Remember, it's just saying, this organization does this, this, and this. Okay, you have to have that. And then the last thing here is something that we haven't done before, but is kind of necessary for this paper. When you're thinking about writing this essay, remember, you're trying to persuade me that this is the best charity, or say I had $100 that I was going to donate and I have to pick between everybody on red team. Okay, you're trying to tell me, hey, my charity is the best charity, and also I wrote the best essay here, right? So you're going to want to add a little something about, like, let's help those dogs, or you want to be a little bit persuasive here. So a statement like this, like, let's help those who give their lives to save ours, I'm persuading you already, right? Because you're thinking about people who are giving up their life to help save your life. You're like, oh, wow, that's a great charity. Yeah. You're allowed to add a persuasive statement like that. In fact, I would encourage it. If you're talking about Marshmallow Foundation, you could be like, so let's save those sad abandoned puppies. Great. But you're going to persuade your readers a little bit more than just saying your thesis statement and then moving on. So you're allowed to use kind of a persuasive statement like that. All right. Introduction is not too tricky. It shouldn't take you long because the middle section here you already have. Okay. So it's a matter of figuring out, how do I want to start it? And then that next sentence literally is just, here's my charity and quickly what it does. And then the next one is, here's the 3 things that I already wrote about down there, right? And so really the first and last sentences are the things that you should be spending a little more time on today, but it still shouldn't take you too long. This overall should be like a 10-minute writing process. Okay, quick and easy, quick and easy. So remember, just attention getter has to be the first sentence. Then your next one, you're going to say, here's the charity that I'm doing. Quickly, here's what they do. And then the next sentence is going to be your thesis statement. Boom, here's the 3 things I'm going to talk about. And then maybe a persuasive kind of little piece on the end. You can keep this video open while you're working. Pause it every time. Go back and look at it, go back and forth so you know for sure that you're putting all 4 parts that you need in your introduction, okay? You need all 4 of those parts. I've seen a couple people who have their essays totally written and sent them to me already. I'm returning those essays back to you because I want you to check and make sure that your introduction matches what I'm asking you to do. And then tomorrow, you should be making sure that your conclusion matches what I do, right? Totally great that you worked ahead if you did work ahead, but just make sure you're double checking with me and making sure, oh, you know what? I have all the parts that I need to have before you decide to hand that in for good. Okay? So, get down to business today, get your introductions done. If you're needing assistance from me, let me know. And we will go from there. Have a wonderful day, everybody.